And good afternoon. Welcome to the booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590. Joined by Alisha Trammell, Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce, also the economic developer for the city of Dexter. Alisha does a wonderful job. I'm a member of the chamber. If you're not a member of the chamber, you need to join. They're always looking for new members. They always enjoy people coming for their very special events they have, ribbon cuttings, brewing up business and things of that nature. First of all, Alisha, may I call you Alisha?
Yes.
Welcome to the booth.
Thanks, Darren. Happy to be here. And thank you for that shameless plug to join the chamber.
A lot of people don't realize the benefits of joining the Chamber of Commerce, and kind of explain to the listeners why we should join the Chamber of Commerce.
Why you should join. Yeah, good question. So I think it kind of starts where I walk in every day at my job is I think of the proverb, we don't plant trees for shade today, we plant trees for the shade for tomorrow. So now a lot of the work we do at the chamber, it does affect today, but the real heart of it is what's for tomorrow. What we are doing, what initiatives, what economic development initiatives especially we are working on, those are for our children and our grandchildren and for the future of this community. So when you support us by being a member, because we are a member-based organization, you essentially are supporting the work we are due to make Dexter the greatest community to live and to work in.
And again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce. Alisha has been gracious enough to come in and give us an hour of her time today and talk a lot about the events that's going on in the city of Dexter. And Alisha, you start off with that proverb, and it'll make me think, Mooring and I, my producer, went to get something to eat recently in Dexter, and he was born and raised here in Dexter, but he moved off and hadn't been here for a while. Of course, his brother Palmer now owns the station, has moved it downtown, and he says, man, Dexter has really grown, hasn't it? And I said, absolutely, and I think that has a lot to do with you as the director of the chamber. Tell us a little about some of the events that you're excited about that's coming up for the city of Dexter and all of Stoddard County.
Yeah. So fall is a super busy time.
It is. I know that we just got done with fairs everywhere, and I think the Stoddard County was a huge success. That's here in Dexter. Tell us a little bit about what else we had to look forward to.
So coming up on Saturday, October 11th, this will be the 79th year for Dexter Fall Fest.
79 years. That's
79
amazing.
years that this has gone on. And the Fall Fest is run by our historic Downtown Dexter Association. And what's interesting is this organization is 100% volunteer. So this event that is going to bring in nearly 200 vendors in a couple weeks, it is volunteer led. And Ashley Miller is the president of the Downtown Association and has just done a phenomenal job of increasing the activities and drawing people not just to downtown, but for all of Dexter. Last year, we had over 11,000 people in our downtown area on this one day from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So if you're a vendor or you're a business in Dexter, we brought in more people than our population.
Absolutely.
So that's a huge success. But during that day, we will have vendors set up, mostly our craft vendors. We have extra food vendors and food trucks coming. We have pumpkin painting. We have bounce houses. We have lots of other kids' crafts and other activities for the kids to do with the fire department. So really, it's a day that everyone can come out and just enjoy being outside and seeing what goodies they can purchase.
And I know you're going to find this hard to believe. And again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590. From looking at my extremely athletic and toned physique, but I love a good food truck, Alicia. I know, and then you know that it's going to be an outstanding food. There's going to be a lot down there. Probably going to have the dirty lemonades and the things of that nature.
All the things you could want.
And again, it's my understanding October 11th. That's going to start at 10 a.m.
9 a.m.
9 a.m. and it's going to be in the downtown area. And if I was interested in maybe becoming a vendor or kind of getting a booth set up, who would I contact?
So you're going to contact Ashley Miller.
Okay.
She works at Jackson's Florist and Gifts. But I have to tell you, this year we are sold out of our booth spaces.
Sold out. That's amazing.
Nearly 200 vendor spots. So we had an early bird deadline as of yesterday. And when Ashley went through and started doing her final tallings for the early bird, we realized we were maxed out on our space. So,
and you can't beat that. Again, I want to welcome the booth with Aaron Todd, KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, Executive Director, Dexter Chamber of Commerce, and the Economic Developer for the City of Dexter, talking about the October 11th Dexter Fall Fest. Come on out. There'll be great activities starting at 9 a.m. in the downtown area. It's my understanding it's the 79th.
79th year.
I think we just finished up the 98th Stoddard County Fair. That's amazing. So we have that coming up October 11th. And I know we have a lot of new things and new businesses and activities going on. What are some of the things that you're most excited that you have done while you've been the director of the chamber here, Alicia?
So one of the most exciting things is Hampton Inn is opening up. So if you go online, you can actually book a stay starting October 23rd.
Outstanding.
So that's exciting. That's an initiative that even before I started this role in January of 2020, I was told we need a name brand hotel. We want a name brand hotel in Dexter. And that was something I started on pretty quickly on the job. And proud to say that, yes, finally Hampton Inn is opening up. And this design is the first of its kind in the United States.
Outstanding, and it's my understanding it's located easily off Highway 60. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Very accessible to those traveling back and forth. Obviously, if you're coming to the Fall Fest on October 11th, you can book a stay. You can also, if you're coming from one of the numerous events that's here in the area, you can also book a stay. Tell us a little bit about the chamber. How many members do you currently have, and is there a limit to the number of people that you could have possibly as members of the chamber here in Dexter?
Yeah. So we have close to 330 members. When I started, we had about 270. So we've definitely grown. Industry standard for a chamber, they say one employee for every 100 to 150 members. We are a small but mighty chamber staff of two. Natalie Gerald is my membership and communications coordinator. She's been with me for just 3 months now, but she is really hitting it out of the park and doing an amazing job for us. So we're kind of at that teeter spot where we've got enough bandwidth between the two of us to service our members, but to continue to grow, we'll probably have to add additional staff coming up, and that's something that us and the board of directors are really evaluating right now. How are we best serving our members and giving them the best value? And we have to have staff to do that.
Obviously. Again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Aaron Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce, also the Economic Developer for the City of Dexter. You know, Alisha, I got to go to the banquet last year that was held at the Elks Lodge, one of the best events I've been to in a long time. Kind of explain the people about what goes on during that event there. And is it always at the Elks Lodge, or is it
so
just...
we move it around.
Right.
We have different event spaces here in Dexter, so we try to move it around every few years to make sure we're utilizing all of our members.
Sure.
So that event is we do that once a year. It's typically held in the first part of the year, and we are awarding, those outstanding businesses or citizens and organizations of the Dexter from the previous year. So it's a good night to just get together and kind of pat yourself on the back and say, you all are doing an outstanding job. So it's a way for us to highlight those people that are also making an impact in the community.
And again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce, Economic Developer for the City of Dexter. And it's my understanding that when you award this, there's a Educator of the Year, there's a Business of the Year. I believe was there a Citizen of the Year?
We do a Citizen of the Year and an Organization of the Year.
And if you're interested in obviously nominating anyone for any of those, they just need to get a hold of you. Or
get a hold of us. We put it all on our website. So those will be released probably about December of this year. We will release those applications. You fill that out. It sends to us. We have a nominating committee that reviews those and makes those decisions.
And again, one thing that we all can agree upon, small business is the driving factor that keeps a lot of these communities in our area going. So you have an opportunity to visit these businesses, a local florist, a local attorney's office, a local abstract, whatever. Stay local is one of the themes of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce, correct?
That is 100% what we do. I took my daughter down this morning. We visited 4 different chamber members, made some purchases, and it's all about, like you said, it's all about spending your money locally. The city, our services, to make money for our city services and our infrastructure mostly comes from sales tax. So if you want to continue to invest in your community, that's why it makes a difference. When you have the decision to fill your car up with fuel, we encourage you to fill that up in Dexter.
Absolutely. And Alisha, we talked about the October 11th Dexter Fall Fest. Is there some other stuff coming up this fall that we should really be focusing on here in the city of Dexter?
Yeah. So one event we do at the chamber is called Brewing Business. And that is something, it used to be called First Friday Coffee. And we had a member mention to us that he's a member of several different chambers in Southeast Missouri, which we love because we coordinate and work with the other chambers throughout Southeast Missouri and actually all of the state. And he said, I can't make it to all the First Friday coffees. And I said, well, we can change that. We're going to just switch ours to the second Friday of the month, and we're going to rename it Brewing Business. So,
absolutely.
So we do have that coming up on Friday, October 10th, and it will be at Mercy Hospital. So that's a good way to come out, meet some of the physicians and the administrators at the hospital, and get to learn about some potential new services that Mercy is going to be bringing to the area.
And again, we're here on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, the Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Developer for the City of Dexter. And Alisha, when you're not spending time promoting the City of Dexter and doing economic development, what do you do with your other 30 minutes of free time?
That is about, I don't know if I have 30 minutes. Well, I am a mother to a daughter, Ellie, who's 10, and a son, Brooks, that just turned 7. So right now we are in the thick of Dexter Park and Rec sports. Volleyball and soccer is our life right now. So me and my husband, Justin, are moving the kids around which way and not. So they take up a lot of our time, but we couldn't do it any other way. One interesting fact, I actually had someone I work with earlier this week didn't know that we also have cattle. So we also, my husband and I have Black Angus cattle. I can't say I do a whole lot with the cattle. That's more of my husband's hobby on his hobby farm. But every once in a while you might see me out there on the Ranger in the pastures.
And again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, cattle farmer. Actually, Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce, Economic Developer for the City of Dexter, talking a lot about her and her family. And Justin's an outstanding guy. I got to know Justin. He sells insurance here in town. Is that correct?
He does. And they have an insurance and real estate company here in town.
And they do a wonderful job with both of those. And obviously, your kids are involved in numerous activities. And right now, you said it's volleyball and soccer.
Volleyball and soccer.
So you have about 15 minutes of free time. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And we've talked a little bit about the October 10th brewing business. It's going to be at Mercy Hospital.
That's
and then
right.
we're also talked a little about the October 11th, 79th Dexter Fall Fest for the downtown and explain this to me a little bit. You said the Downtown Association, is that correct?
Yes.
That's who sponsors that and puts it on, correct?
Yes. And it is all volunteers.
And is it only the individuals who own businesses downtown, or is there anyone who's interested in helping revitalize downtown?
Anyone that is interested, we welcome your participation. They love ideas. They have generally about every month, every other month, they do have meetings to where we can come and brainstorm. But also, if you just want to be involved in some of the other activities they have going on, we do have 2 coming up in November for them as well. Yeah. One is our Christmas tree lighting. This will be our 8th annual. We, a few years ago, planted an actual Christmas tree downtown at the Welcome Center and Depot. And we do a Christmas tree lighting each year. So this year will be on Sunday, November 9th. We will have hot chocolate, cookies. We will sing carols. And we have Santa and his reindeer coming again.
I don't know if we want Santa coming. I think I'm on the naughty list. I'm not probably. Can you put in a good word for me?
I'll put in a good word. My kids actually think I'm Santa's elf, because I've had to dress up as an elf a time or two.
And again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, and we're talking to Alisha Trammell, the Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce. And folks, I know everyone knows Alisha, and if you don't, you need to get to know her. She is the most selfless person I've ever met. There's no job that she's not willing to do. Obviously, she said she's already had to dress up as the elf. Extremely outgoing. I don't think she's ever met a stranger. Very popular. If you're not a member of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce, you're missing out, because not only am I now informed about things that are going on in Dexter, the amount of information you managed to put out through emails and texts is unbelievable. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, thank you. That is something we really strive to do, to make sure that we are very transparent with our membership in the community. If you don't know what's going on in your community, how are you feeling involved? And that just progresses our mission at the chamber. The more people we have that know what's going on and want to be committed to the community, the stronger our community is going to be. So we do, when you join the chamber, we send out weekly emails. They are every Monday morning, and it's the highlights of what's coming up. So we don't want to bombard your email inbox, because we all get enough emails as is. So it gives you a highlight and snippets of what's coming up. So you can just stay informed and know what you want to do on your, weekend plans or things going on with our other members.
And again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce and Economic Developer for the City of Dexter. And I cut you off. We had talked about the Christmas tree lighting. That's November 9th, the 8th annual downtown on Sunday. And then you also said there were some other events. Is that correct?
That same week on Friday, which will be November 14th, will be the annual Moonlight Madness event. So that is from 5 to 9. So it's a late night for some of us. If you're used to being at home and in bed around 8 o'clock, you can get some of your shopping done sooner. But this is where the people in the community can go around to participating businesses and sign up to win what we call as Mad Money. So it's kind of our fake money, but you take that money if you win it that night, and you can use it at the participating businesses that participated in Moonlight Madness. So it's just circling that money back around within the community, which is, again, what we're all about at the Chamber.
Absolutely. So that event will take place on November 14th, the annual Moonlight Madness from 5 to 9. So those are a couple of events that are coming up in November. We've talked about the October 11th 79th Annual Dexter Fall Fest in the Downtown Association, which is amazing. The vendors, they're already sold out, but please come down. There'll be tons of food truck, tons of things for kids to do. The weather should be outstanding. And then on October 10th, we have the Brewing Business event that's going to take place at Mercy Hospital. If you haven't been, you're like me, you're a little nervous, apprehensive. Believe me, once Alicia sees you'll know tons of people there. They're very welcoming. Just come on in and grab a cup of coffee and figure out what's going on. It's the second Friday of every month. Join the chamber. You'll get the emails that come out, and you'll know exactly where it's going to be. No strings, no pressure. Just come and have a good, nice, relaxing Friday. Have a cup of coffee and get hopefully your week either ended or started. Your weekend started, one of the two. Alicia, we talked a lot about those events. I know in addition to the chamber, you are also very active because I've seen you at every city council meeting here in Dexter as well. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So explain a little bit about what's going on with that.
So I am the economic developer for the city of Dexter, and that is where I'll explain economic development in my book for a little bit. So the best way I can describe it is the leaky bucket. So you've got water that you are filling into your bucket. That is new jobs. That's new money. That's outside investment being brought into your community. Now, the water inside your bucket that's sloshing around, that's all your services and your goods already in your community being sold. So, for example, Wendy's opened up earlier this year in Dexter. That is a decision for a local resident. Am I going to go to McDonald's or am I going to go to Wendy's? That's more of the economic activity of our city. Yes, we're probably going to grab a few people off, Highway 60 because they see the Wendy's sign. But generally, it's just the local people making a decision between which hamburger they want today.
Sure.
So that's your money sloshing around in the bucket. Now, unfortunately, your bucket's leaking. It's always going to leak. That's your money that is going outside of your community. That's where your local people, they're going to go up to Cape Girardeau and go to some of the stores there. We can't stop that. Unfortunately, sometimes businesses close. That's also your money leaking out. So my job as the economic developer is to constantly think about how am I putting water back into the bucket to increase that tax base. Because when our businesses are healthy, our entire community is healthy.
And again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce and also Economic Developer for the City of Dexter. And she wears these two hats, and she does them very well. So basically, it's a situation in which you're always thinking about what can we possibly do to help the city evolve and bring in more business. And the thing, people always tell me is, I wish there was more jobs here. I wish Toyota would come here. I wish FedEx would come here. And it's my understanding that on a daily basis, everyone involved in economic development is always trying to do that. But you have to look at what services you have available and try to have the right fit, correct?
That's 100% truth. And the one thing we always want new jobs. We always want new industry, and we are always trying for that. But there is a statistic that they say 80% of your community's growth comes from within. I was at a workshop earlier this week, and I had a lady say she thinks it's like 80 to 90% from within. So a big part of that economic development, though, too, is supporting our current industries. So Nestle Purina, earlier this year, they hired 30 new people. They are at 500 people employment. Back in 2019, they were about 250.
So again, the thing of it is you have to work. And one thing I've also tell people is the key to having a positive workforce is an outstanding school system. And I think Dexter is very lucky, and then they have an outstanding school system. And I know that you work closely with the schools. Is that correct?
I do. Work very closely. Meet with the superintendent and the assistant superintendent quite often. Because again, that's when I am bringing an industry in and I am showing them our community. One of the first places we go to is our school district, and we have those conversations. Not only the Dexter School District, but we are great partners with Three Rivers College. That is our pipeline to our skilled workforce. I've been very involved with the college in creating the Boot Hill Technical Training Center. That is here in Dexter at the Dexter campus. They've expanded programs at the Technical Training Center for welding, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, advanced manufacturing, and I'm super excited to announce that next spring they will have a lineman program.
Oh, outstanding. So that they'll be able to do a lineman program here in Dexter.
Here in Dexter.
So they will no longer have to go to Georgia or Nashville?
Or
is it, where
in
they,
Missouri.
Absolutely.
They can stay here. Which is, again, that is our economic development side, is how are we creating those pathways for our people to stay here. We're, Southeast Missouri, unfortunately, we've been losing our population. Luckily, Dexter, our population did increase in the census, but not enough that I would like to see. I would like to see a little bit higher. So we always want to show, especially our high school students, that yes, you could go to college elsewhere, but think about coming back here. You can have an amazing life here where you can raise your family if that's what you want to choose, or have an amazing career. There's multiple opportunities.
And again, we're here with Alisha Trammell, Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce and Economic Developer for the City of Dexter. And I'm very excited to hear that because, there when I was in high school many years ago, the entire push was everybody has to go to college and get a 4-year degree and then get a master's or something of that nature. But now if you look around, there's a shortage of electricians, plumbers, mechanics, things of a service nature that we just don't have anymore. So that's something that the Boot Hill Technical Training Center is going to really focus on, correct?
Yes, absolutely. My dad is an electrician, so this speaks to my heart.
Absolutely.
I had an absolutely amazing childhood. Me and my brother both did. I would actually go with my dad on some of his service calls.
Oh.
So I could wire that electrical outlet over there if you actually asked me to. So this is close to my heart to bring this technical training center because I've seen how rewarding a trade skilled career has been.
And again, we're going to welcome the booth with Alisha Trammell, Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Developer for the City of Dexter. Alisha, down in Kennett, they were lucky enough to get AccuLevel to come in a few weeks ago, which is outstanding. Obviously, you've talked about the upgrade in the per number of employees. Obviously, I also want to say this. You had the tough situation with Tyson, but you managed to turn that, while it's still a negative, into somewhat of a positive. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is the worst call an economic developer can get.
Absolutely.
Is to say that your largest employer is shutting down in your community. We're still seeing some of the effects of that because it was that soft infrastructure that goes into the Tyson plant was, all the chicken houses and the people moving the grain. So we were extremely fortunate to bring in Cal-Maine Foods, which is the U.S. largest fresh shell egg producer. I cannot say better things about this company. When you walk into that facility and the vice president of operations is walking up to every single employee and knowing them by name and knowing, how's your family doing, right. Knowing family members, that says a lot about a company. So we're extremely happy to have them. Right now, they're on phase 1 and they have about 100 employees. They started producing eggs in January of this year. There are probably about 500 to 600,000 eggs per day being processed. And once they get to full capacity, they'll be processing about 1.4 million eggs per day going through that facility.
And again, obviously it's a very tough, and we're not talking about, we're moving on, Tyson's in the past. But I think that's the kind of situation that I want people to know. Alicia's there. You're listening to the needs of the community and what's going on. And so it's just you're moving forward. That's all you can do, correct?
That's exactly it. We didn't like Tyson's decision, but we still had to put our boots on every single day and keep working. Because if we took our foot off that gas pedal, where would the city be today? And that's where we are. It is fully on the gas to try to continue to keep moving the community.
And again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce, Economic Developer for the City of Dexter, talking about some of the great events that's coming up. October 11th, 79th Annual Dexter Fall Fest right here in downtown Dexter. October 10th, Brewing Up Business at the Mercy Hospital. Coming mid Alisha, she'll have give you all the applications so that way you can become a member of the chamber. If you're not, shame on you. You've got to become a member. We've talked about the November 9th tree lighting ceremony that's going to take place. What time is that going to start?
It will start at 5:30.
And then November 14th, we're going to have the annual Moonlight Madness from 5 to 9. I'm probably going to be in bed about 8 o'clock. But again, it's an outstanding event, so I might come because
maybe for one night you can stay up a little later. The next day is Saturday.
I'll do it. I'll see. That's the kind of encouragement that Alisha is going to give you. And Alisha, tell me a little bit about your growing up. You said your father was an electrician. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell the listeners a little bit about Alisha Trammell.
Yeah. So I'm originally from Shelbina, Missouri. Yep. You've either never heard of the word or you've said I've been there. It is located in northeast Missouri. So my dad, he was an electrician. My mom was a registered nurse. She did utilization review for the hospital. They always thought I'd go into the medical field, but I don't like blood. So that quickly ruled that out. After high school, I went to Springfield to Missouri State University, and that's where I met my now husband, Justin, and fell in love, and he moved me to Dexter.
And he said, honey, we're coming to Dexter, and you said, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
And, we've talked about you being from Shelbina before, because when I first talked to you, I said, your English is impeccable, because your enunciation, as we were off air, I apologize. I always would call you by the wrong, but that Alisha wouldn't roll off my tongue very easy, so I'd always call you. But anyway, and we talked about, because Shelbina is obviously the home of the Speaker Pro Tem now, Cindy O'Laughlin.
That's correct.
So tell me a little bit about how often do you work with the legislature as an economic developer for the city of Dexter or for the chamber?
Advocacy is a big part of what we do, because we need to make sure that our policies and our governance that's out there is very pro-business. That is what our business community wants, and so that's what we're there to help with. I think what I tell a lot of chambers that are anxious about getting into advocacy, our legislators are just people. So getting to know them as actual people, so when something does happen, like Tyson closing down, I can call Senator Jason Bean and say, hey, we're going to need some help. That is huge. I will say both Senator Jason Bean and our representative at the time, Herman Morris, were instrumental in getting us some funding for the Boot Hill Technical Training Center. And that's what it takes, is having those relationships with our legislators, just to talk to them of, these are the needs in our community, or this is what we are seeing. This is what the business community is dealing with, and here is how you can help.
And again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce, an economic developer for the city of Dexter, talking a lot about her role of the director in the city the economic developer for the city of Dexter. Alisha, when you go to Jefferson City and you talk to these individuals, I know that Steve Jordan, Cameron Parker, who's now, I think, the city attorney for Dexter, which I think is an outstanding decision by the city of Dexter. They're very understanding of the issues of Dexter. Is that correct?
Oh, 100%. I mean, most of the time, if I bring something to them, it's not necessarily new news. That's how much they know of what's going on. When we go to Jeff City, that's great, but honestly, being able to pick up my phone and send them a text, that's what it's about. I talked to Steve Halter in Poplar Bluff. Him and I sometimes have that discussion of, it's sad when other communities don't have that relationship with their legislators, that they can send them a text.
Right. And I talked to Steve Jordan here, and he's going to be on the show. He gave out a cell phone number.
Most of them do. Yeah.
So I mean, that's the kind of relationship they want to have, and their philosophy is if we don't know what's going on, we can't try to fix it. We're up there to help the people.
Yeah, they're there to serve us, and if they don't know how they can best help, then how are they, servicing us in the correct way?
Absolutely. Again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Aaron Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, the executive director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce and the economic developer for the city of Dexter. Alicia, we talked a lot about some stuff going on in October, November. Is there more stuff that we need to talk about? There's always something going on, correct?
There's always something. Well, the other thing that we have going on at the chamber is we have a cocoa crawl in December. It's on December 13th. And what that is we have participating businesses in the Dexter area. They will have hot chocolate for you to sample. But you also get a discount. So we do a custom Cocoa Crawl mug every year. This is our 4th year of doing this. And when you purchase the mug for $10, that also gets you all of the discounts at the participating stores.
So it sounds like a lot of the events that the Chamber is putting on is in an effort to get you, first of all, into Dexter, second of all, into the businesses in this community with a reason why, correct?
The reason why is to spend your money local. Some of those statistics change of how many times the local dollar turns around, but if it's like, I think it's $100 that you spend, between 65 and 75 of that dollar stays within your local economy and just continues to circulate.
And again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Aaron Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell. Alisha, as the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce, what are you wanting to focus on for the remainder of this year and possibly into next year? Because I know I can always tell the wheels are churning in your head, because when I ask you, you light up with that smile, and it's a mischievous smile, but it's always something you're like, wow, I never thought about that.
So I've always got something up my sleeve.
Absolutely.
So it's funny because I just met with my exec board of the Dexter Chamber, and we are about to embark on a new strategic plan. And that strategic plan is going to really hyper focus us on the initiatives that we need to be focused on. We've kind of gotten to a spot where we know what's going on in the community, and we need to really dive into those initiatives that are, again, going to continue to move that needle. So whether that's, championing our business successes, driving economic growth, and empowering our community. That's where we need to be focused on. So we're going to create some strategies and some objectives to make that happen.
And again, you mentioned your executive board, and I would be remiss, and I don't want me to put you on the spot, but if I was to ask you some of the members of the board of directors, and could you just
we have 9 members. Yeah, we have. So we are accepting nominations for board of directors. We accept we accept 3 every year on our board, and 3 go off. So you serve a 3-year term. And that just kind of allows you to see what goes on each year. Brock Williams is currently our chamber president. Then Mark Whitehead is our vice president, our second vice president. And then Gary Eaton is our vice president. Josh Miller is our treasurer. And then I could continue, when we continue to keep going on.
Absolutely.
Right. So let me count them off my fingers. But Brandy Allen, Lisa Baker, Michael Sism. Who am I missing?
And again, I did want to put you on the spot, but sometimes what I'm trying to get across is these people all donating their time to make the Dexter a better place, correct?
Yes, it is all volunteer based. Hillary Duncan was the last one that I left off. But when we look at our directors, when they come in for nominations, they do fill out an application. And we're looking at the board matrix. So we want to make sure that even though we have 330 members and we only have 9 representatives to represent their interests, that we have a diverse board that is very similar to the makeup of our membership. So we have a large small business presence, so I need to make sure that I at least have someone representing the small businesses on my board. We also look at their skills and what their interests are. They fill that out on the application. We want to make sure, again, that we are hitting everything we possibly can so that we are working to fulfill the mission and providing value to our entire membership.
And again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Developer for the City of Dexter. And we're talking a lot about the events that's going to happen in the next 3 months. Obviously, October 10th, Brewing Up Business at Mercy Hospital. We call it Brewing Up Business. It's always on the second Friday. It's a great idea. I'm glad that you do that. The first Fridays are just too crowded with things going on. October 11th is the 79th Annual Dexter Fall Fest. It's going to take place downtown Dexter. Come out to over 200 vendors, plenty of food trucks. I'm extremely excited about that.
I've ordered perfect weather for it.
It'll be 100% perfect weather. And when we talk about the perfect weather, it's going to be about 70 degrees, zero humidity.
No rain.
Absolutely. And as we've all learned, whenever Alisha speaks, we listen because we've learned that in the meetings. And then in November, we've got the annual Christmas tree lighting, November 9th. Then we have the annual Midnight Madness, November 14th from 5 to 9. And then you said December 13th is the Cocoa Crawl.
That's correct.
And is there anything else going on in December?
A lot of our businesses, I mean, that's their bread and butter time. When you were thinking about, purchasing your holiday gifts for around the Christmas tree, think about purchasing local first. One of the really cool things a lot of our local businesses do is they will gift wrap it for you. So that saves me time and that saves me money.
I like that you looked at me when you said gift wrap. Do I look like somebody who could not gift wrap?
Hey, I'm not very good at it either. I would much rather let one of the local businesses gift wrap it for me.
For somehow that one corner looks really good and that other corner, I'm like, I don't know where this extra paper come from. But again, and we're talking, welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, the Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce, Economic Developer for the City of Dexter. And we talked a lot about events, and we've noticed the strategic plan that you're talking about coming up with. Mm-hmm. Is there some things in particular that we should really be thinking about that you're focusing on?
I mean, economic development is definitely our main focus. We need another industry here in Dexter. Tyson left still a big hole. We were already trying to recruit industry before Tyson left. So, we went from almost 700 employees at Tyson to losing those, whereas Cal-Maine is just at phase 1 of 100 employees. So there's still a big gap there and still a lot of work for us to be done. So I would say that is our number one objective.
And I also want the people to know that the chamber and Alisha as the executive director, it's not like you're being responsive to things that happen. You're being very proactive. You've been working on outside activities a lot longer than when Tyson left and things of that nature. Again, it's just like the old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day, correct?
That is correct. Yeah. There's also another saying, without a property, you don't have a project. So we've been working to identify sites that we can develop that we can then market to industries to come in.
And again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Developer for the City of Dexter. Is there an actual, what they call a industrial park that is actually owned by the City of Dexter?
It is not owned by the city. It's all privately owned. So that is where Forvia, which what used to be called Forcia, that's where they're located. We also have a facility there that Nestle Purina does warehousing out of. That when you talk about, we've talked previously about, 80% of your growth comes within. That was a building that came available, and I first marketed it to our local industries to said, who needs this? And Nestle Purina quickly raised their hand and said, we do. And so they were able to consolidate a lot of their warehousing into one facility. So now the individual that's doing the logistics for that, he was able to buy more trucks. He was able to employ more people, and he does about 120 trucks in between Nestle and Dexter every single week. So that's, again, that's a lot of gas money that is being used.
Right.
And that was just from within, and that's located within our industrial park in Dexter.
And also, again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, the Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Developer for the City of Dexter. One thing that I've also noticed, and I don't mean to speak out there, it seems like you're also expanding the footprint of the Dexter Chamber a little bit outside of Dexter as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. The value we provide our members is not based on a zip code. So if you have a business that could benefit from the value we provide, we would love that. Again, when we are stronger as a region, that makes each of us stronger individually. So when Southeast Missouri comes to the table as a collective whole, that makes Dexter stronger. And that's like our membership. Our membership, they want more business. And so if that is, expanding their business and their reach into Dexter, we would love that.
And again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell and the Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce. And what I say about that is, I had the honor of Richland last year built a new gymnasium, and there was a ribbon.
And we did a ribbon cutting for them.
Absolutely. And I think that's outstanding because some of these smaller communities may not have a chamber, but you should be able to celebrate the successes of the community, because anything that's going to help Stoddard County, Dunklin County, Butler County, whatever, and make the region better, we have to celebrate as a whole. Don't you agree?
100%. That was just, you mentioned that AccuLevel and that came into Kennett. Melissa Combs did an outstanding job, and we celebrate that win that she brought in down there. I think about 41 new jobs. That's amazing, especially as we've talked about, when the population is decreasing in Southeast Missouri. That's where us as chamber professionals and economic developers need to come together and support and make sure that we're all winning those projects.
And we had the honor of Jim Griebing from the Boot Hill Regional Planning Commission was on the show a while back. He talked about working with you and what a pleasure it is, and also working with David Blaylock at Malden and Melissa Combs and then Christian Johnson. It's almost like a collegial family, because if we can put a business here and build it up, we can then put a business here and make the entire region better.
Absolutely.
And again, we're on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce, Economic Developer for the City of Dexter. And I haven't even asked, if I wanted to just look and see some of the stuff the Chamber is doing, you have a very nice website, correct?
Yep.
Kind of explain to the people how I can get on that.
Yeah, it's simple. DexterChamber.com. We house just about everything on there. We do a community calendar. That's one of the biggest things we do for the community. So if someone has an event going on, we want to put that on there on that calendar. You can register for even some of our chamber events coming up. You can register for there. I will take this to tell you another thing we have coming on that I'm really excited about.
I love you breaking news here.
Okay. So earlier this year, we created a chamber foundation. It is a true 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we did that with the intent to create workforce development. How we are funding that foundation is two ways. One, if you are a member of the Dexter Chamber, you can voluntarily pay an extra 10% of your annual chamber dues, and that 10% we take and put into the Chamber Foundation. The second way we are funding that is we have a first-time Dexter Young Professionals Summit coming up on October 16th. This is for probably those individuals that are earlier on in their career, or maybe they've just graduated high school, or they're just needing an additional boost. So it's going to be a one-day summit where we're going to talk about building your brand, customer service, healthy finances. Are you saving for retirement and how important that is? What employee benefits are available out there? We're going to be speaking on healthy living. I've got a healthy living panel coming, and we're going to look at it your health as a holistic approach. It's not just physical, but it's also mental. And then our keynote speaker is Sean Van Slyke with SEMO Electric. And if you've never heard him speak, he is extremely motivational, has a lot of leadership experience. So that's an event coming up that I think everyone that's in that, beginning stages of their career, there's going to be some really good content. But so the funds we create from that summit is going to go towards our foundation. And the foundation is set up for workforce development, for scholarships for those individuals that go to the Boot Hill Technical Training Center. And we're not just going to be gifting money, we're going to be giving items. So is that steel-toed boots? Is that a tool belt? What item do those students need to enter the workforce right away?
Absolutely. And again, we're talking a lot with Alisha Trammell. Well, we got about 3 or 4 minutes here. Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce, economic developer for the city of Dexter. And you mentioned something about the Youth Summit. Do we have a date and a location yet?
Yep. It is Thursday, October 16th. And it's actually going to be held at Rick Shipman Construction. They built a new building a couple of years ago, and they have a nice training and conference room. They are graciously opening their doors and letting us use their facilities. So if you want an inside peek of Rick Shipman Construction, you should come to my summit.
And what time will that begin?
We will start at 8:30 in the morning and go till about 4:30. So it is a full day.
And again, we're here on Welcome to the Booth with Darren Todd on KDX AM 1590, talking to Alisha Trammell, the Executive Director of the Dexter Chamber of Commerce, economic developer for the city of Dexter. And she's given us a myriad of information about activities that are coming up for the city of Dexter through the Chamber of Commerce and other things. But not only for the city of Dexter, the entire region. If you're from Bell City, Advance, Kennett, come on out and check out these things because it's really amazing. If you're not a member of the Chamber, become a member of the Chamber. I promise you it's worth the fee. Alisha is one of the most outstanding executive directors of the Chamber you're going to find in all of Missouri and probably anywhere in the United States. And that's not a shameless plug. That's just honesty. October 10th is Brewing Up Business at the Mercy Hospital. Come to that. October 11th, the 79th Dexter Fall Fest downtown Dexter will be amazing. The November 9th, 8th annual Christmas tree lighting. The November 14th annual Moonlight Madness event from 5 to 9. December 13th, we have the Cocoa Crawl. That'll be amazing as well. And October 16th, and I think we need to talk about this one more time, it's the Youth Summit. Is that what we're going to call it?
Young Professional Summit.
October 16th, 8:30 to 4:30 at Rick Shipman Construction. If you're just out of school, just starting, if you're a haggard old veteran like myself, just come out and see what's going on. But it's an event that if you're just starting your career, you need to be a part of.
You definitely need to be a part of it. You're going to leave this summit hearing from several people that are going to give you some really actionable tips that you need to just really boost your career and probably even your own personal life.
And the one last thing, and we're going to wind up, the Boot Hill Technical Training Center. It's my understanding that this is the first you've talked about it. They're actually going to have a lineman program that's going to be taught there. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And that will begin in
the spring.
That's amazing.
It's absolutely amazing. We're super excited for that because, again, that's something that individuals have had to really leave. They've had to leave our area to go to that school. And, unfortunately, early this year, Dexter was without power for 2 days. We understand the importance that the lineman technicians bring to the community.
And, I can't even begin to talk about the number of individuals I've talked to whose children were going into the lineman program. And I said, where are you going? Well, we're going to Georgia, or we're going to Tennessee, or we're going to Lynn, like you said. So to have that opportunity here in Dexter is absolutely amazing. I can't tell you how excited we are. I think we owe a lot of that to you. So, again, I know you don't like taking responsibility, but we're very grateful for everything you do. And in winding down, is there anything that you'd like to talk about that we haven't talked about here today, Alisha?
I think we've covered it. Just stay tuned. Like I said, there's always something up my sleeve. So keep paying attention. We've got a pretty active social media account, and that's where we try to post everything going on, not just within the city, but within the chamber. So stay tuned. There could be some more exciting announcements coming up.
And whenever you join the chamber, make sure that you say that you heard it on KDX AM 1590 and Welcome to the Booth with Darren and Todd, because I think that, again, you'll be very excited about that. And on behalf of my producer, Maureen Johnson, my executive producer, Evan Todd, thank you for making us part of your day. I hope you have a great afternoon and a better tomorrow.